Okay. All right, I think we're live. Here is a latency test for Kyle. I'm gonna hit enter here and testing. So there's still some latency, but from all the settings that I tried, this one reduces it significantly, and and it gives me the best stream quality. So I can reduce it even further, but then it starts complaining about streaming at 1440p. So I think this will be the middle ground for now. All right, so here we go. How's everybody doing? Let me know in the chat if you're here. I already see Funky Boy and Kyle. And we're continuing with the soundboard today. Last week I did some funkiness here to kind of be able to interactively change a setting, a carb setting, and then have that make a subscription to it so that I could update the size of these buttons on the fly, rebuild them on the fly. It's a little janky because I'm rebuilding the window and the slider is in the window, so I can't actually slide it right now. But that was just a test. I'm not going to bother with that. Basically, I think it was Tim was saying, I was asking, can't you just move the slider out of the frame, and that way you rebuild the frame, but the slider doesn't get rebuilt, and that's exactly how you would fix that. Is anything that you don't want, you put things in frames that you want rebuilt, and I could have avoided having that slider rebuilt, but that's not my end goal here. So we will move on. Today we're talking about drag and drop, and we're doing. I had started and shown a little bit of external drag and drop last week. It wasn't quite working. I figured out my issue there, so we're gonna do that, and then I think the goal would be to also have an edit mode so that I can move these buttons around and reorder them and change the colors on them. What I'm realizing is that we're probably going to need at least another week to finish this. So I'm terrible at estimating this stuff. So we'll see where this takes us. I don't want it to go too long, but yeah, you guys let me know how this series is going, if you want to keep doing more, or if I should just wrap it up on my own. The goal with these is I want to show start to finish, but I also don't want to bore people with writing doc strings and things like that isn't very enriching. So unless you guys want to watch that, let me know. So let's get started. Here's where we left off. One of the things that I need to solve that I tested and I found is that this external drag and drop is tied to a window name. If I don't clean up my window correctly on the shutdown for hot reload, then it breaks the drag and drop. There's two instances of the window, and the drag and drop just it gets applied to the wrong one or something. So I need to solve that. I have this destroy function, which I need to bring back. But I realized, I don't know where this is like an autocomplete destroy function that gets created. I don't know where it came from, but that return super destroy is a little weird. We don't really need that. And we're going to destroy the external drag and drop. That's something that I saw from the documentation, is it does have its own destroy function. But I only want to destroy it if it's not none. External drag and drop. and then set it to none. And I'll initialize this up here. And also when I rebuild, I should do the same here. External. I'm trying out different color themes. I don't like that this one doesn't highlight self. If anybody has a good one. I like green, so if you've got a green theme that you've seen around, let me know. All right. What happens if you try to destroy it when it's none? Good question. So if it's none, you're basically saying none.destroy. The none type object doesn't, it's no longer an external drag and drop object. It's a none object. And so this function doesn't exist on this type, so you'd get an error. And yeah, we're doing much better with the latency, thankfully. Okay, and then did I need to destroy anything else here? I'm getting rid of the sub. Then over here, what I found is that I was complaining that the extension wasn't getting cleaned up correctly. And that is because I was still holding on to the settings manager, which holds on to the carb settings. So setting that to none should do it too. So I just resaved here. And I cleared my data. Let's do one more reload here. No warnings. If it was still holding on to something and on shutdown, you'd get a warning here. So I think we've got a clean shutdown now. I do have multiple windows here, so let me clear that and we'll try one more time to make sure that I've got proper shutdown. So there's one window. And I'll save again, and nope, still getting two windows here. So let's see if I'm missing anything else. What may not hurt is to also set this reference to none. I'm passing in settings here. If I set this to none as well. I'm gonna get rid of that print statement. We don't need that anymore. All right, let's try this one more time. Save, I get a new one. And then I don't need this carb settings anymore, so I'll save again. Still getting two windows, but let's just try the drag and drop and see where that takes us. And I am going to do one restart here just because I had that in such a bad state with the cleanup. So we'll restart and see if we get a better start here. Open up my config here. So the goal here is going to be to drag in an external sound file and add that to copy the file to my data directory, and then add a button to the list. And then from then on, that button should just always exist when I restart the app. Okay, we'll maximize that one. Actually, if I can get this window set up the way that I like it. Cool. Still getting to. Let's just give it a go. So if I save here, have that there. I'm gonna start debugging to catch to break on the callback for the drag and drop. And I should have somewhere here. I have this sounds folder off screen, and I'm just gonna drag from there onto here. And you can see here that it's missing the window. It's dragging. It's dropping onto the viewport instead because it thinks that this window doesn't accept drag and drop. So another fix that I found for this, until I can think of what is not getting cleaned up here correctly. I have that setting subscription. Do I have any other subscriptions? Oh, I have this slider subscription. Maybe that's the one. Save twice, and still 2 windows. That's messed up. Okay, so let's try drag and drop here. Nope. Oh, the other thing that I'm doing wrong here is here I hard-coded the window name. So actually this should be self.title. So I'm saying the window that I want to put the drag and drop on is this window itself. All right, let's try that now. Nope. I will work around this. There we go. So I'm just gonna have to work around it for now. But you can see here now I have one window, and here it finally hit the break point. Now this is going to fail because I copied this from somewhere else. But what I wanted to check here is what is the EDD and what is the payload that I copied from here. So the payload is going to be this list of strings of the files where I got them from. And I think we can accept MP4 or MP3 and WAV. So I'm gonna assume that. And if it is, then I'll go ahead and add it. And then what does EDT give me? Some private functions. Destroy, expand payload. You can get the current mouse coordinates. So if you wanted to limit the drag and drop to only a certain part of your window, you could do that with by using the mouse coordinates. And those are just the dunder methods. Okay, so we'll just start with the and I believe I don't know what this is doing. So for file path and payload. If it's a directory, then get all the, I don't know why you would want this. It looks like it's just grabbing, if you drag a directory, it will give you all of the files within that directory. Okay, I'm not going to support that. I don't care. Okay, fine, I'll support that. It's not much work. So that's going to expand the payload, and once I have that, I can say I'm going to put this in a path. So I got to loop through this. Okay, so now I got a path object, and then I can do file path dot. Trying to remember how to get the extension. Suffix. Yeah, I guess it's suffix. Final components last suffix, if any. So it includes the dot. That's something that I can never remember. So if the file path suffix is in this list, mp3 or .wave, then we're going to add a button, or we're going to add it to the sounds. And I'm going to create a new function here. Here I was loading all the sounds, but I should load a single sound from a file path. I need to continue this function because otherwise kid's going to keep complaining. Okay. File path, and then we just add it to the sound. And I could do some checks to make sure. To make sure that it doesn't conflict with some existing sound or something. Okay, then over here, I just need to do, this needs to, no, it doesn't need to do anything. Self.load sound, sound name, comma, sound data, URI. Sweet. Now I can use that over here. And I need to remember how to get just the base name of the file. Name, maybe. The final path component, if any. I believe that's what I want. We can do a quick test here. From pathlib import path. P is equal to path. Ah, darn it. C temp test.py. Yeah. Cool. So there has to be another way to do this. If anybody remembers, if anybody knows or remembers, I just want the name without the extension. Root, stem. Okay, let's try root and stem. Nope. That's the one, stem. Self.load sound. The file name as the name of the button for now. And otherwise, the file path as a string. Cool. And then after all of this has been done, self.frame.rebuild. Cool. How did I? Okay, so I have my active sounds. And I guess I need to, I totally messed this up. So I do need to do this, but I need to copy the file first. So where is our resolver here? This interface. All right. So we got the right thing. Dest is equal to let's fix this. And we're going to copy source to destination. Source will be file path, and destination will be this is correct, but I want data dir. That's fine. I'll put them all next to each other. That's already a path. So all I need to do is destination is data dir / file path dot name. And I think I can just put that there. Nope, I need to resolve it first. Okay, and then finally the destination. So once we have that, then we can throw that into there. Yeah, that's nice. Cool. I will still break there. Just want to take a look at this a little bit longer before I start making changes on my file system here with this. And then I need to add it to the config. That's fine. We'll do it after the load sound. And I don't remember what this config looks like anymore. Also, this is really wide. Data, default config. Okay, so active sounds here. And what does my current config look like for the user config? Just gonna pull that up really quick. Okay. Data, extensions, open with code. So that's all I've written here so far. So I need to copy over the active sounds and also add in the entry. Okay, so I've copied that over. Default config looks like this, so I need to add an active sounds. So this is a list. So I'm going to copy it to make sure that I'm not. What did I do with the resolved config here? I'm going to need to make this a property or all right. So what I want to do here is every time I request the config, I want to make sure that I am I'm generating this, regenerating this based off of the defaults and the user config, because it's going to be changing. Nope, I need to do a new dictionary. And then I need to do update. And then this is in the wrong order. First the default, then the user config. And then we can return the resolved config. Cool. And I should no longer be using this. All right. So if I remember correctly, the reason that I did this instead of what I was trying to do of equals the default config or the user config is because objects in Python are referenced. So if I did equals, it would be pointing to the same dictionary in memory, and then if I made any changes to the resolved config, it would break my default config or whichever one I copied. So I wanted to make sure to have a clean object, a new object, and then update it with the data from the other ones. And I don't need this anymore. And then I need to refactor this bit here. This is now a function. Cool. And I need to import this. And then same story here is that I'm going to get this list, which is an object, and I'm going to modify this, but I don't want to, this list, but I don't want to affect the config yet, I think. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Active sounds. So we have the active sounds. Now I want to add the new sound that I've added. So I'm going to append filepath.stem, and then I need to add it to my repository here. Sounds repo. And really, I think the config manager should maybe be in charge of this, but for now, config manager dot user config. And so I'll explain in a moment here what I'm doing. So with the active sounds, I want to completely duplicate, at least to start, the list of active sounds. So you can see here that right now this user config is empty. I want to take, to start the default, whatever I, as an extension author, I provide here. But afterwards, the resolved config, when I get to active sounds, it's going to give me whatever the user said they want to see for their buttons. So as I add a new button, I want to take whatever active sounds the user config is, or the resolved config is telling me, and then just add one more in this case. And so that's what I'm doing. And then I'm setting that list back into this user config dictionary. And then for the sounds repo, I just need to add a new item to it. So this is a bit of a mess, but I'll improve it. So what I want to check to see is if this thing has an attribute. Called sounds repo. That's how you do it, right? It's no underscore. So I'm going to check if that dictionary has an underscore. Or I'm sorry, if it has a sounds repo. If it does, then I don't need to. Then I can carry on. If it doesn't, I should add it. Is the what I'm after here. Okay, so I'm going to create a new dictionary there if it doesn't exist already. Otherwise, now we can go ahead and add an item here for the file path stem. Yeah, hasadder works for any object. So dictionary, even though we we think of we're kind of looking for the for a key. Actually, I'm not sure. I might be doing this wrong. I should probably, maybe I should be checking for has key. Let's test that really quick. Thanks for asking this. I probably got this wrong. This is, I'm almost certain I got it wrong now. Right. So has adder checks if there's an attribute, a member function, or a member variable named whatever you tell it. What I need to do is d dot has key. Nope. Well, the other way. This is the other way. So it does have blah, but it doesn't have. Yeah. Thank you for asking. So I want to do I think by default it returns none. Yeah. So cool. All right. So we've added that. We're going to add now a dictionary here. And what should this look like? It needs just a URI. And the URI is this destination. All right. And after we've done all that, let's save the user config. And I don't need this anymore. All right, let's just try it. Oh, what happened here? It's because I reloaded. Method not subscriptable. I didn't indent this correctly. Well, that is right. All right, let's save that and see. See where we're at. Gonna drag a file in here. I should put a breakpoint. Or should we just YOLO this and see what it does? Nope, didn't take it. There we go. Okay, let's see what we're doing here. Our paths are now, it should just be that one item. Good. So come into here, build a path object. And there it is. Beautiful. Come over here, and now destination is going to be this thing here. We resolve it, and now we have the fully resolved path, which is good. Then we copy it, and we should find it now. There's my copy in the data editor. Then we load the sound, which we can't really confirm. We do all this stuff here. We add active sound to the user config. There it is. That's the resolved config. Well, let's keep going. And it shouldn't loop anymore, and then it should save. And if we check the user config now we have all of our sounds, plus the thank you copy that I added. Here's the button name and the fully qualified URI. And now we rebuild. And let's just continue here. And we come over here and we have a thank you copy. Yes, we do. Sweet. I didn't check to see if I'm streaming my desktop audio. I'm not. So let me fix that.
Why, thank you.
So that's working. Thank you. Get is for dictionary. Yeah. Get is for dictionaries only. It's definitely a member function of the dictionary class. I don't know if there's any other class that uses it that in the standard library, but yes, get is very good if you haven't used it, because it gives you this option of if it doesn't find it, it will return a value here. So in fact, I think I could have done something like, no, I still need, I can't condense this further. But yeah, you can, if for example, you don't know if something's there, you could return some fallback value, and the default fallback value is none. So you can, instead of having to check to see if it's there, you can do the check and also return a fallback value all at once. So very handy. Okay, so man, we did a lot. That was a lot. Now what should happen is when and we did confirm that this is working now. A lot of stuff happened here. We tested the resolution of the resolved config, so it's finding the repo. This sounds repo this dictionary is in the resolved config is a combination of both this sound repo and this sound repo. So it's actually merging those dictionaries correctly. For the active sounds, when you do an update on a dictionary, it doesn't merge the lists. It replaces it if the one that you're updating with comes with has that key. So in this case, I had this active sounds that the extension defined, but now as a user, I'm saying no, these are my active sounds now. So now what I can do is I can add the remove functionality, so I can remove buttons and I can shrink this active sounds list. And so yeah, we did a lot. Like all of this is coming together, and now we're seeing the fruit of our labor here with the config manager and all that. Some of this logic could maybe go in the config manager. Not entirely sure. I'm looking at this right now. Hey Gavin, welcome. The champ. Gavin's our one of our winners for the extension contest. Okay. Kind of just want to stop here and enjoy this moment here, but we must press on. So we have drag and drop working. Wonderful. That scroll functionality is a little annoying. And next up is we could do one of two things. I can start removing buttons, or I could go into edit mode. Technically, I was supposed to add a pop-up here to let you name your button. So maybe I should do that. We have a modal. Let me see if I can remember how to do this. We have a modal window. You can set a flag to make a window modal, but there's also pop-ups. Where's the pop-up documentation? There it is. So pop-up is not what I want. I want definitely modal. So I want this. So then I can't click on anything behind until I've completed that step. Let's go ahead and add that. No, we don't have a sample for this. Let's do quick search for modal. Whoops, modal. I know the documentation has shows the flags, but I think this might be faster. Cool, so I want to do this. And I'm going to do this in the drag and drop. So let's get a name here. I suppose I don't need to rename the file. If you dragged multiple in here, that would be weird, but I guess I have to support that. You could drag multiple files onto the window, and then I'm looping through all of them, and I need to support naming all of these sounds. So I could do this here. I could just have a rename. Maybe I just want to have a rename function. Let's do that. So cool. What we're gonna do now is I'm going to set up a new file here called widgets. And I'm gonna create a class called, I need to get this license stuff going here. A button slot. And a button slot when you initialize it, could be in edit mode. And I don't know what happened here. Edit is equal to false. I gotta get rid of this. And this button slot is gonna look a lot like this. Sound name. I guess I just need a sound name. Oh, and the button width. How did I do that? As I'm refactoring this, I'm realizing I'm setting myself up for some pain here. I should store the sound name though. Button width came from here. And those are sound objects, right? So then I can do the on-click will, I already copied it over here. The on-click will then call the audio interface. I can just grab an audio interface here. I'm pretty sure that's should be pretty safe. And sound name and the sound. So then I just have to do self.sound. And the button width. Gavin is asking, there's two questions there, or two comments. Yeah, so I'll show you here how I use them, and I've seen this used fairly often. You can you can Kyle saying the self thing makes me question myself. You can create a class. I define these as kind of containers or components of my UI, and then I can initialize these in the build wherever I'm building to kind of look like the rest of the UI API. So let me finish this and I'll show you that bit. The thing about self is it's very much like this, like the this keyword. I think it's a keyword in other languages, even though you don't need to pass it through. But you know, you do this dot edit to say that this is a member, storing a member variable on here. The thing about Python is you don't need to define these ahead of time, right? You can just, in any function, you could add a new member variable to an object, and you could even do it externally. Wherever you're using an object, you could add a new member variable to it. So that's kind of what self is. Python can get pretty funky in that I can show you why you pass in self. So class, let's make a class called A. What? I'm not in Python. Class is equal to class A. I guess let's do this right. I don't know, just to not use the same thing here. Yes, you do create an instance of the button slot. Self does have to do with instancing with objects. Okay, so I can do I can instance that like that. I can grab, oops, it's just called t, and the member variable is called t. And then I can also do obj dot hello, right? Oops, what did I do here? Ah, no, I messed it up. I didn't give it self. Class. No. All right, let me one more time, sorry. That one, that one, that one, that one. This is getting all jacked up. Okay, ignore the issues with my text there. So obj is equal to a, and I'm gonna say hello world. Then obj hello, we'll print that out. And so that's, you know, that's the nice, that's how you would come to expect to use a class in an object-oriented language, right? You would instantiate it, call its constructor, and you get an object, and then you can use call the member objects, the object's member functions, and in Python you can also access the member variables as properties. I don't need to make them private or public or anything like that. But you could also do a dot hello obj. And let me do one more here. obj2 is equal to a Goodbye. Okay, so now I can use this interface here. I can do a hello obj. Oh, man, I messed that up. What did I do here? There we go. A hello obj or a hello obj2. And that's what Python is doing under the hood, is that when you call it like this, it's taking the object that from here and passing it in as the first argument of your function. And so that's why we always have self. So there's no notion of this keyword this in Python that's just always available. You're always just passing it in as the first argument. And so that's the reason for the self. So if you wanted to make it easy on yourself, just ignore this and just always put it, and then this always works like as this. But this is the reason why it works this way, is because under the hood, Python is calling these functions in this format. But nobody wants to work that way. I want to do obj hello and obj2 hello. So I think there's yeah, I'll leave it at that. I don't know if that helped or made things more confusing. So back to this. I think we have everything here that we need now. I don't need to pass this through anymore. I can just call on click. Okay. And then over here, I can get rid of this and just do UI. Nope, just a button slot. And widgets, import button slot. This is still running, sorry. I'm waiting for the autocomplete to kick in here, but it doesn't want to. So the first argument was sound name, sound, and then button with sound name self dot sounds sound name, and then button width. So yeah, so this is how I would then call it. I would call it similar to how the other UI classes work. I'm instantiating this here in this moment. I can catch it if I want to and do more with it, but I can just do it in this declarative format, and it looks a lot like the other UI widgets, and it works the same. So what did I mess up here? Soundboard has no attribute setting man. Line 39 of the build window. But it does, it's right there. Let me clear this. I definitely broke something here. I'm surprised that this isn't auto-completing. Did I mess anything up here? No, that looks correct. Let's store the button width too while we're at it. This thing doesn't need anything. No, I messed something up here. Let's get a fresh launch. Yeah, it is. It is. Gavin said it's like a reference to something, whatever you pass, and yeah, that's why you get these errors of like, if you've ever seen a function call error that's like, it expected 3 arguments, but you only gave it 2. The reason for that is if I have a member function like this one, it expects 1, 2, 3. If I forgot to put the self, it would expect 3. But by doing the call, where did I put it? Here, you'd count 1, 2, 3, and you're like, oh well, I gave it 3. Why is it saying that it expected? Or why is it saying that I gave it 4? And that's because this object, when it's instantiating, it's getting passed in as the 4th one. So that's also kind of a weird error that you might encounter, and it'll throw you off the first time if you're coming from a different language. Okay. Still getting an error here. It's the same one. So weird. This is getting passed in from, it's just directly saying that there's no attribute named setting man. But there is, unless oh, this is where I'm destroying it. So it's all a symptom of the non-clean destruction here. So let me go back. I was messing around with this yesterday and sorting all of this stuff out just to make sure I understood what needed to be fixed, and I had it working. But today it is not happy. Do I need this here? Probably not. Wow. Oh, is it calling? It's probably calling the build function before this is even. That's new. It's probably calling the build function before any of that stuff is even executed yet. New key error. That's good. Or was that failing even beforehand? Maybe that's why I didn't have a settings manager, because I was hitting that error before. That's what it was. Okay, sorry. Let's bring this back. Everything was fine. It probably is a good idea to not build this frame until this stuff is all set up. So I did introduce a bug in the settings when I did all this stuff. At line 59, there's a key error. Okay. The sounds repo does not have a sound name. So, okay, let's try that out. Nah, you guys are good. I wasn't seeing that error when it was coming up. I was looking at the last line and not the actual error. So here we are. I don't need to break there. And here it's trying to look for applause. And we'll go one more step. Oops. I guess it already errored there. Did I read that? Yeah, it's trying to get it there. Okay. Active sounds. So active sounds is there, but my repo is not. My repo only has that one item. Now, I thought I knew how update worked. Because I thought what it should do is merge these two dictionaries. But that may not be the case. So let's come back over here. And I think I'll just pull up Python dictionary. So the Python, python.org documentation is really good. Like I've sat through this and just read it like a book. It's very thorough. And looping techniques. Nope, that one doesn't have it. Come on, python.org. This might be fine. Keys, values, items, merge. Oh, is it called merge? Maybe that's a iterate over the mapping object B, adding key value pairs to dictionary AB. I wonder if this changed between Python 2 and Python 3, and that's So if override is true, then existing pairs in A will be replaced with matching key if found in B. Otherwise, pairs will only be added Nope, this is the same as merge, AB1. So maybe I want to do override is off. Where's dictionary? Update the dictionary with the key value pairs from the other, overriding existing keys. Return none. So it could be it must be that I'm replacing it doesn't do it recursively. So once it found the same key, it replaced it in the entire dictionary with the other one. So what I will need to do is, it's not as elegant as I had hoped. I will update that, but then I will do resolved config sounds repo. There's probably a smarter way to do this, because I said, if you remember, I said I thought I wanted config manager to be something that I could reuse for lots of different extensions. But obviously now I'm hard coding these things. I think my autocomplete just stopped working entirely. Or maybe it's because I'm still in run mode and on the break. Yeah, see, it's not resolving any of these things. And then sounds repo dot update with class.user config sounds repo. And then finally, we update the resolved config with that. Okay, and now this config should have everything. Well, it has still only one. All right, let's take a look in here. Let's see what I messed up here. Okay. Resolved config is empty. Update here. And now we have active sounds, and the sound repo has lots of things. Great. Now we copy this, or the resolved config is now only going to have one because I did this full copy, which is fine. But now we're going to get the default config again, and we're going to store it in the sounds repo variable. And then we're going to update that dictionary. What is this USD config? One more time. Okay. Step over, step over, step over. Now we update. I got an error. I guess I didn't save yet. There we go. So now sounds repo object should now have all of them plus the thank you copy. And then the resolved config now should have 15 items. Cool. And we're good. Now we can continue, and we don't need that anymore. We don't need to stop on every sound. This is where I should be smarter. I shouldn't be resolving it on every sound. But I got another key error here. Let's clear that and see what's up. Build window, line 55. This is wrong. Oh, this is the error. I don't know why it still says line 55. Button slot, I want that one, and then that. It doesn't help that VS Code is all messed up. And I'm going to reload VS Code because it should have warned me about all this stuff. Like it should have warned me that that UI import wasn't there. There we go. Is this import happening now? Yes, it is. All right. I must have run out of memory or something. Here we go. Okay, so what were we doing? Oh, just trying to fix stuff.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right, so all that just to refactor. It was an error that I had from before from the drag and drop. That finally cropped up when I did a full reload. So now we have this button slot instead of having this code in there. But what this allows me to do is that now I think I'll still have this stuff. Is I'm going to set up an auto mode, an edit mode for this. So with UI.frame maybe, or let's do an H stack. And if self.edit, then I want to do width is going to be something small. Style, color. Actually, I might need, I think this is background color. UI.color.red. This needs to be a dictionary. There we go. So in theory, VS Code with its auto import stuff. And where is it trying to do this? Turtle, I guess. It was just that turtle import. Cool. So still looks the same. But if I did this correctly now, if I flip this over to edit equals true. Now each of these has a little rectangle here. There's some overlap because of the button width is only taking into consideration the size of the button and not the edit mode. So every one of these has a little handle here. Let's add a little buffer here. Cool. So now what I want to do is I want to have this be a move handle for the buttons so that I can reorder them. I want to get rid of this for now. There we go, much better. And let's do the drag and drop. So when it's in edit mode, we have that handle, and let's take a look at the documentation here. I think it's on widget. Set accept drop function and set drag function, and also set drop function. So one limitation with the UI currently is that you can't have the same widget be draggable and accept drops. What I wanted to do is just, grab the button and drag it, but that's why I have this move handle for now. And which in the end is probably a better design. You go into it's more clear at least what's going on there. So we need all these things. And maybe I'll just look here for an example. Stop it. This one. Actually, we have a good example in the documentation, I think. But this is fine. Specify that this widget can accept specific drops and set the callback function that is called to check if the drop can be accepted. Okay. Now, do I need two different build functions, or can I do it with just one? If self.edit else okay, and I think I just want this to always be true. Can drop. Just need to accept any arguments. A path. And then the drop function is going to be that. Okay. And then I need to add the drag. On drag callback, it's gonna take a this thing is giving its own draw function, and it's giving its own that one is a bit too much. Here we go. What does my drop look like? I like this example. So the drag function, I need to give it the button name, I suppose, to keep track of what's being dragged. And lambda. This needs to go up here. So the buttons only accept the drag, and I'm sorry, only accept the drop. And this one accepts, this one allows for dragging. Okay. And that's only the start. So this will at least allow them to be drag and droppable. You can see here that there's a little, if you can notice, there's a little square next to my mouse. That means that it's actually doing the drag. And then when I drop, on drop image, where do I have on drop image? Oops, sorry. And this should not be self. On drop. There we go. Now when I drop onto one of these, I get still a stale execution. There we go. It printed out the sound name. So all of that is good. So I feel like I should have gotten a little bit more on that output though. There's the drop event, okay. And maybe I'll just stop there. All right, what do we have here? MIME data is applause, so that's the that's based off of the drag that I returned, what the drag returned. And then I also have the X and the Y and the MIME data. I'm sorry, the MIME data is the sound name. Okay. Now, what I need to figure out for this design is technically this button slot needs to trigger I need to update the config with the new order, with the active sounds order, and I need to trigger a rebuild of the window after that. So what can we do here? I guess this is easy, right? It's just a class, so I can do that. I built that intentionally. And I'll continue here. And where I'm doing this, okay. On this drop. I'm gonna get the active sounds. I need to know which button it was dropped on. Okay, and then based on that, yeah, we'll do this the easy way first, and then I can be smarter about it. Button dot sound name. Insert after and so we get the active sounds. Okay. And we're going to pop e.mime data. So we're going to pop the sound that I'm moving. And then active sounds. List, where are you? A list can... This documentation doesn't have all of it. It's going to be... this one. I'm going to get the index of the item with the first item with the name. So button in or active sounds index of that one. And then insert at the given position. So okay, so yeah, if I give it that index, then it'll insert right after. Active sounds dot insert. Was it it's the index first. And then my sound that I was dragging. Okay, so then that should be all reordered now. And now I need to solve the second part of this, which is how do I trigger the rebuild? Do I pass a copy of the window in there? I think what I'd rather do is send a message. So over here, custom event Omniverse kit. Okay, so I need to get the bus and I need to push it. Thanks for coming, Kyle. We're almost out of time. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this all in one go here. But I don't want to leave this broken. All right, let's see if we can. I'll keep going until I finish this bit here. What is the event? Buttons reordered. MIDI codes, soundboard. Cool. This is going to be called buttons reordered event, or I'll just call it reorder event. Cool. Now we can come over here from constants. Oops, that should be an M. There we go. I'm going to restart this because it's not taking. So my font's kind of big still. Okay, so that's going to kick in. I need to get one more interface here, which is the event bus. Okay. And then we'll do that later. I just need a push. Message bus dot push. And this is going to be a reorder event. And I don't need a payload. Cool. Then on the window side, this is where we do want to listen for stuff. We'll take all of that. I shouldn't need to check for any type. But I suppose it's better to have separate functions for these. I need that message bus. And then I'll remove it on destroy. Reorder. Okay. I think we're good. I will solve that window issue, the window destruction issue. So if I drag this over here, so close, line 50. MIME data, pop. So I need to get the index of this thing. Okay, and then I move it. I remove it, and then we'll insert it. So let's make sure we get a fresh experience here. Has no attribute sound name because I passed the button. That was foolish. Let's just pass self. And cool. Come back over here. Drag it. There we go. It inserted it before. That's probably fine. Not what I intended, but definitely working. So I'm going to move applause. I'm going to put it before oh yeah, and there it is. And it still works. Move oh yeah before phone ringing.
Oh yeah.
Pew, 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 pew.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that's a good place to stop. Then next week we will finish up the edit mode, and I think it's coming together. Thank you for joining. I will sort out that multiple or the window destruction not working the way it should, and I'll keep this going next week. I think hopefully maybe just one more session of this. Thank you. Any questions before we sign off here? Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for hanging in there with lots of complicated stuff here. But we used a lot of cool stuff. Message bus, both of the drag and drop, external and internal. We'll make this better next time, where I'll check to see if you're dragging in front of or behind the button, and that way not always drop it but behind the button that you dropped it on. They should say before, because I made a mistake, and now I'll fix it by just renaming it. Cool. Thanks, everyone. See ya.